And I just want to say this, I get asked quite a bit of my favorite Super Bowl. So it's difficult to ask a question like that of Mike. I've been to 22 of them now, I guess, 23. And they're all different. And I kind of want to bring up one in particular that I would never, going in to the Super Bowl between the Steelers and the Cardinals, have said this would be one of my favorites of all time. And part of that reason is because the Cardinals being on the national stage like the Super Bowl, like nobody really knew of an Arizona Cardinal fan in their lives that I know of or that I had met. Mm-hmm. And, when you talk about most passionate fan bases or national fan bases, Cardinals are not mentioned. Steelers are. And, I'm almost sure. Who did the Cardinals beat in the NFC Championship game that year? Chris, look it up. I'm kind of forgetting. I think it was the Eagles. Yeah. Okay. And I know NBC executives had, Eagles Steelers on the brain, if I'm not mistaken. You look that up.
Yeah, they beat the Eagles, Panthers, and Falcons in the playoffs.
Okay. And so, were the Eagles the ones in the NFC Championship game?
Yes.
All right. And I just remember talking to some folks thinking, the ratings.
You never know.
And that turned out to be one of the greatest Super Bowls in the history of the Super Bowl.
It was awesome. Yeah, Eagles were 9-6-1, and the Cardinals were 9-7 that year.
Well, but the Eagles curb stomped the Cardinals on Thanksgiving. I still give Kurt Warner so much grief for that. Thanks for dragging our asses out across the country on Thanksgiving night to freeze our asses off in that stadium for you not to show.
48-20.
Thanks for that, Kurt.
Yeah.
And then in the rematch, they took care of business. They made the Super Bowl. And I'm just mentioning this because, sure, the helmet catch, with all due respect, Malcolm Butler, just to give you a return volley
Thank
there,
you.
okay? Just to name a couple of Super Bowls. Obviously, the first half of NFL Network's existence were Patriots Super Bowls.
That's true.
Okay? And, a lot to do leap to mind of some great Super Bowls that I've been kind enough, thanks to the television gods, to cover. But I mentioned Cardinals versus Steelers right now because both teams in the NBA Finals are kind of like the Cardinals. I mean, with all due respect to the fan bases here, Indianapolis and Oklahoma City, a lot of people around the country are going to be learning what you've been cooking all season long and certainly all spring long for the first time. I'll watch an NBA Finals game if that's what you're watching. Sure, Thursday night. I'll tune into this. What else is there on? I'm just talking about casual fans. This could be a tremendous NBA Finals. Tremendous. Of players that, maybe not selling out jerseys, not the top selling jerseys on Fanatics. You know what I mean? But those Cardinals, nobody gave a shot against the Pittsburgh Steelers. And certainly not a shot to make a Super Bowl out of it. Certainly not to take a lead with 3 minutes to go and then only to have the Steelers march down the field with a touchdown that we're still talking about. All of that after with all due respect to Kurt, while I'm disrespecting him.
Maybe the greatest play in Super Bowl history.
Honestly.
And then Larry Fitzgerald's touchdown.
Right.
And then the final drive. It had 3 gigantic moments.
Right. And going into that, everyone's like,
not that exciting.
Could have been Pittsburgh versus Arizona. Right now, it's like,
or Pittsburgh, Philly.
Could have been Pittsburgh, Philly. Right now, people are like, could have been the Knicks. Well, Pacers made it for a reason. So do the Cardinals. And so, it's not easy for Breen to answer, which is the 20 that I've called. But of the, more than close to 24 Super Bowls that I've I've covered. I mean, that one stands out. And going into it, not a lot of people were talking about it. But coming out of it, they were. Catch the Rich Eisen Show live weekdays from 12 to 3 p.m. Eastern on Roku Sports Channel in the U.S.